Chapter 732. For a fleeting moment, their gazes locked. Though the exchange was brief, either was certain of the outcome of his attack. He had cut it perfectly. It's bound to succeed. After his sword, wrapped in a blue aura, had passed through the monster, centered around the mark left by Yudhir, split precisely into 4 pieces and collapsed. Kishir, who had leaped over the corpse he created, landed smoothly. His cloak billowed and then settled. The fluids from the battle that soiled his once pristine appearance, yet they did nothing to diminish the man's serene and overwhelming strength. Shortly after, Kishir, exhaling briefly, flicked his sword to shed the fluids and turned to Yudhir with a smile. ... Those who witnessed the flawlessly executed joint attack, not pre-arranged but as if planned, were unable to tear their eyes away from the spectacle, despite knowing they needed to move swiftly. Yudhir felt the same. Kishir's movements seemed to read his intentions perfectly. No, they definitely did. Even without explicit instructions on where to strike, Kishir's timely and precise attacks, coinciding with the chilling thrill Yudhir felt during their brief gaze, lingered electrifyingly throughout his body. It was a sensation that could almost be described as exhilarating. However, the time Kishir and Yudhir could gaze at each other was exceedingly brief. I hope these guys get like a freaking month to gaze into each other's eyes. Before they could exchange a word, a cavalry member, leading the next monster and waving a hand scarred and scraped, called for their attention. Next. Yudhir swiftly sprang into action, taking a deep breath. But even as he marked the next monster and then another, the exhilarating sense of control over his body did not completely fade. Yudhir Ale, with his black hair, alternatively used various attributes difficult to discern to create openings and mark the monsters. Kishir, without any signal, would then precisely strike the marked spot, efficiently killing the beast. Mark, kill, and then mark, kill again. Even as the cavalry members bringing the next monsters momentarily faltered or the creatures deviated unexpectedly, they remained unshaken. The almost miraculous sight irresistibly drew the attention of all present, including those maintaining the perimeter and those from the Star of Nagran's southern stronghold under surveillance. Swordmaster. Sarah, sitting bound, turned her head to a murmured voice beside her. An Imperial Special Forces soldier overseeing the captured awakeners of the Star of Nagran watched the battlefield, his eyes wide with awe and admiration. Unbelievable. To think I'm seeing this with my own eyes. Duke Paleta, a swordmaster. Are you sure about him being a swordmaster? There are others among us who can wield a sword with aura-like power. Another Imperial soldier asked, keeping his voice low, but his eyes too remained fixated on Kishir, who was showing overwhelming prowess without faltering against the monsters. Yes, that man is my closest colleague, so I know better. It's real, completely different from the power of an awakener. Don't you feel it too? The inquired soldier didn't reply, but his silence was as good as an agreement. And it was the same for Sarah and the others from the Star of Nagran, an absurd situation, but they too understood the truth of those words. The cavalry commander, Duke of Paleta, Kishir La-Or, was known to everyone as an awakener. Similarly, the news of his recent acquisition of the new divine sword was so widely known that there were hardly anyone who didn't know of it. Yet, no one could have imagined that he was such an extraordinary swordsman and a swordmaster capable of generating a perfect aura. Even while watching, it was hard to believe one's eyes. The movements of Duke Paleta were nothing like those of mercenaries who boastfully wield swords, nor were they like those of average knights. He seemed as though he had been one with the sword since birth. Even the strong cavalry members who had captured Sarah and her colleagues without allowing them to properly resist found themselves struggling against the monster. Yet Kishir, facing the same beast, showed no difficulty in his swordplay. His sword strikes were not flashy or hesitant, but simply cut through again and again. Whatever his sword touched, it cleanly severed. Even the tough shells that other attacks could barely scratch, and the insides that seemed soft yet tenaciously caught allies, stood no chance against Kishir's strikes. The act of cutting. It was the first time she truly felt the essence and identity of a sword being so vividly demonstrated in its simplicity, and that's why it was frightening. The more one saw of this being accomplishing the seemingly trivial yet unbelievable, the more overwhelming terrifying it became. The unknown within it became more apparent. Every citizen of the Or Empire grows up hearing tales of the owners of the Divine Sword. Most of the chosen wielders of the Divine Sword Or were renowned sword masters, possessing skills and stature fitting for the sword. Seeing him now, no one could doubt that he was the new owner of the Divine Sword. She bit her lip in fear. Even in the chaotic situation created by the sudden appearance of monsters, the enemies who had perfectly subdued them and brought them here were far more formidable than they were. The fact that they were injured among Sarah and her colleagues but no fatalities despite their desperate struggle was proof enough. After all, capturing enemies unharmed is known to be twice as difficult as killing them. But what frustrated her more was something else: the familiar faces among the Imperial soldiers monitoring them. Why are those who disappeared from our base here? Sarah had thought those who fled from the southern base were not worth her concern. Maybe if the sage had ordered their retrieval, things might have been different. But in the current situation, communication was not easy. Not wanting to take on more responsibility by chasing after them, she had focused on stabilizing the base with the southern merchants, never imagining it would come back to haunt her like this. The trusted southern merchants died too easily, and her colleagues who trusted and followed her were captured disgracefully. The awakeners from the central base, captured with her, seemed to regard the southern base awakeners, including Sarah, as traitors who acted against the sage's will, refusing to even meet their eyes. Their attitude only worsened after seeing Sarah's surprised reaction to the recently passed the test cavalry trainees who had originally escaped the southern base. Even the recently passed the test cavalry trainees did not give Sarah a proper answer about the current situation. They simply looked at her pitifully, yet coldly saying, "We are now part of the cavalry and we do not wish to speak with you any further." Having only saved her own life, everything was a mess. She wondered where it all went wrong. Well, it went wrong when you underestimated cavalry and had this prejudice. Did the sage know all about this and the southern merchants who had died without a word? Amidst the confusion and regret, Sarah looked for any opportunity to escape. It seemed unlikely that the Duke of Paleta could handle the vast and mighty monsters alone for long. Indeed, his movements had slowed down a bit since the ninth monster. It had started after he narrowly deflected an attack aimed at Ydir-El by a transformed leg of the monster, grazing his arm in the process. Those who had expected Ydir to easily handle the attack without the Duke's intervention were surprised by his choice to intervene, but fortunately, it seemed not to be a serious injury, and the confusion soon settled. Following this, Ydir-El began to move more fiercely, and so far, their counterattacks hadn't shown any significant vulnerabilities. However, the scorched sleeve of his once white garment, now turned black, was notably visible. The force behind their monster slaying hadn't weakened, but everyone knew it wasn't good to prolong the fight. Still, the Duke of Paleta and Ydir-El were managing well, unlike other cavalry members who were visibly struggling more with the remaining monsters. The number of perilous moments when they almost got seriously injured, failing to block the monster's attacks were increasing. It was a clear sign that their stamina was reaching its limits. If things continued this way, the formation might break, or some would have to retreat, requiring backup. In the ensuing chaos, it seemed possible to find a chance to escape. Just a little longer. Sarah watched the monsters held by the cavalry members, looking for an indirect way to exert her power. Just as she was about to turn to a colleague who could help, a slight breeze blew from somewhere. Moments later, a fresh surge of energy passed over their heads, and the part of the monster facing Kishir was cleanly sliced off. Amidst the surprise, someone landed from a high point before them. It was a knight with distinctly southern features and a cold face. Sir Zuckerman, someone called out with evident relief. The southern knight didn't respond to the voice calling him, focusing only on the Duke and neither ale. Taking advantage of the monster's halt from being sliced, Kishir stabbed and killed it. He then took the opportunity of the time until the next monster arrived to stop and turn his head. Either Ale beside him did the same. Nathan, you have finally arrived. Yes, Adjutant Nathan Zuckerman reporting back now. Ooh, Nathan, that is such a cool entry.